Welcome to the Uncensored Self Podcast. I am your host, Ryan Gillen, and this is a space where women who value achievement, success, accomplishment, and wealth, but also crave happiness, love, joy, and deep fulfillment come to remember that we get to have both. Not by doing more, but by being more of who we truly are. In this show, we explore identity, energy, alignment, and embodiment because you didn't come here to follow someone else's rules. You came to right your own. Let's dive in. You wake up in the morning and there's already pressure. Pressure to respond, pressure to decide, pressure to fix, pressure to move things forward. There are clients that need you, problems that need to be solved, decisions that need to be made. And underneath all of it, there's this constant feeling of being behind. Like you just need to get organized, just get your shit together. You just need a week to catch up. And what most women don't realize is that you're not just experiencing pressure. You're actually building your entire business or career from it. I'm Ryan Gillen. This is The Uncensored Self, and this is part 2 of a series called The Business Beliefs I Do Not Subscribe to Anymore. And today we're actually talking about why so much of what you've taught about business is rooted in lack. And that's the reason why it all feels so heavy to you. So this is a belief that I don't subscribe to anymore, right? That business is about lack. But first, let's go back to last week. So again, this series builds on top of one another. Not to say that you can't. If somebody shared this with you, please listen to it. But the first teaching was really about your business or your career can only grow to the level of which you can hold, right? Where most people in today's society, men and women alike, are actually already at max emotional capacity, meaning one more thing would feel like all the spinning plates that you have would crash, right? So the question becomes, why are we at capacity all the fucking time, right? Like, okay, why are we like this? The number of women who I wind up in conversations with where that's their question to me, Ryan, why am I like this? Like there's this frustration with, I don't want to be like this. But the answer to that question is it's because of the energy we're operating from, right? It is the energy that we are operating from, period, end of, hard stop. And that is frustrating as fuck because we want to explain it away. Right? We want to blame it on something else. It's the economy. It's the industry. Things are just so expensive. This is just the nature of the beast, right? I talked a lot about this in episode 1, right? But our results, our experience of the world is always the energy that we are operating from. And so the concept, the belief system, capitalism, quite frankly, as a whole is rooted in lack, right? Like let's not pretend that that is not the case, but I'm not going to tackle capitalism today. Today, I'm just going to tackle you and what's going on in your world. So the belief system that we were taught about business, and I've never seen an industry that's not rooted in lack, right? Because what lack actually looks like, and some of you might think this doesn't apply to you because you make a lot of money, but lack is not just not enough money or not enough clients, right? The energy of lack is I don't have it and I need to go get it. So the energy of lack can be anything you were telling yourself you don't have enough of, right? The one we are super guilty of as women is I don't have enough time, right? So many people, myself included, so much of my story was rooted in fixing my money shit. I'm using air quotes for this because I was trying to repair this relationship with money. And I do believe we are in a relationship with money. And I do believe that that's necessary. But most of us, if we just cleaned up the lack we didn't realize was lack and just fucking left money alone, it would bring in more cash and resources than you know what to do with, right? Because most of us believe I don't have enough time. Right? That's one of the biggest things that we come from lack, or I need to go get something. I need to get something done. There's something missing, right? And most people go through the world with the energy of something is missing. They're working and they wish they were with their kids, or they're with their kids and they're thinking about work. And there's this constant energy, at least it was for me. So many years of my life and so many of my clients is this constant energy of something is missing, this inability to just be in the present moment and enjoy the moment the way that it is, not feeling like you should be doing something or you should be somewhere else. So how does lack show up in our language, right? I need more clients, obviously, right? Need. Anytime we need something, it means I'm not okay without it. The energy of need is an energy of lack, right? I need more leads. I see a lot of this. My pipeline is empty, right? I've been so busy taking care of clients. I've been so busy managing the team. I've been so busy doing these other things that I've let the pipeline dry up. That tends to be a really big one I see a lot of, right? More time. I need more time. Everybody believes that they need more time. But somehow we manage to spend hours and hours and hours on social media a day. Blows my mind, right? I need to get this deal. This deal is really important, right? This deal will make or break me. It's a career-making deal or a career-making job, right? I need to land this opportunity because every time we come from an energy of need, it's reinforcing I do not have. And this is super confusing because what you are thinking right now is, Ryan, you are constantly asking me, what do I want? What do I want? What do I want? What do I want? Right? and I get it, and this is why I'm explaining it to you in this way. There's an energy of desire, and an energy of desire feels good. Like think of attraction, right? When you are attracted to someone, there's a desire and it feels good, right? That want, that need, that desire, that connection, that tuned in, tapped in feeling, it feels good to desire. It feels good to be desired, right? When it does not feel good was when you have a need for something. I'm not okay without this thing. I need you. As soon as you put that need on money, you put that need on a man, you put that need on your business, you put that need on your bank account, you put that need on your clients, you have created an energy of like, I need something from you. I'm trying to get something from you. And you all know, right, how it feels when somebody is trying to get something from you and they're not pretending that they are, right? You can feel it. So every time we focus on the things we need to do or need to get, we are reinforcing I do not have. And every single business model that I've seen, I'm not going to say that I've seen an exhaustive list, right? But business is taught this way. Okay, you're running a business. You need to go get clients. You need to go get something you don't have. You need to go win the deal, right? When you win, somebody else loses, right? Lack, right? You need to close more. Like, how does that feel? Yeah. You need to capture attention. You need to get people's attention. You need to get them to say yes. You need to close the deal, hard close them, right? Even logically, we talk so much about business solving problems, but when you think about the true energy behind those words, when you go out in the world to go get clients, even if you do believe that you have a product or a service or the work that you do helps people, you are still trying to get them to believe that or get them to do something. And there is just this exchange energy, this quid pro quo energy, which is quite literally what business is built on. So don't worry, I'm going to tell you how to fix this, right? But logically, a lot of people, guys, even myself, like I used to teach the exact opposite of these beliefs I don't subscribe to anymore. I used to tell people like, go solve people's problems. I literally had it in my LinkedIn headline that I was a professional problem solver. Like that's how focused on problems I was. I was the person everybody came to for people's problems. But when you are an energetic match to problems, all you've got is problems. So when we think about business, what is somebody going to pay me for? Well, if they're up to their eyeballs in problems, they're willing to pay me to solve their problem. So I have to bring attention to their problem. Do you see what I'm talking about here, guys? Universal law works 100% of the time. And like I said, this works logically. It's energetically where it hurts. It's why the business feels like pressure even when you're winning. So here's what's really, really important. There's a giant difference from operating from an energetic match to problems versus for operating from an energetic match of creating a solution, right? This is the problems versus solution conversation. This is leadership 101, right? Don't bring me the problem, bring me the solution, right? Like how many times have we said that to an employee, or how many times has that been said to us as an employee? Don't come into my office and just bring me your problems, bring the solution, right? We say that to our children. We say that in conversations with our partners. We're like, bring me the solution, right? But businesses all operate from problem. But when you operate from creating a solution, being an energetic match to the solution, being an energetic match to the value, it's a very, very different energy in the way that you approach business, right? So why this creates pressure, this energy from lack? If I have to go get something, I don't have it, I'm behind and I'm missing something. There is a deficiency. I am not okay the way that I am. That is ultimately what business is about. I'm not okay the way that I am. My bank account is not okay the way that it is. The number of clients that I have is not the way that it is. The way this negotiation is not okay. And what ultimately that creates, while it will create results, you guys know it will create results because you're living it, it's also creating urgency, pressure, and insufficiency. Urgency, pressure, and insufficiency. So as y'all know, I ask you a million times an episode, what do you want? When you think about the life that you want to live, the business that you want to run, the experience you want to have of your career, does it feel urgent? Does it feel like pressure? Does it feel insufficient? No. That is quite literally why you continue to win and it feels like shit. Because your desire of business is not urgent, pressure, and insufficient. Your desire of business is freedom and expansion and impact. And things are not the same, but your operating system is constantly locked into this feeling of lack. But here's what's really important. I said this at the beginning. I alluded to this, but I'm going to say it again. You don't feel pressure because your business is hard. You feel pressure because you believe that something is missing. So many people talk about business being so hard. It's so hard. It's just hard. It's just hard out here. The business is hard. These streets are hard. These internet streets, these real estate streets, these job hunting streets, they are hard, right? They are not actually hard factually because not everyone is having that same experience, right? So one person says that business is hard and somebody else is having a radically different experience. My client, Courtney Benson, who I talk about a lot, I've interviewed her here on the show. She says this very publicly, right? She, she did not have the belief system when she started her business that it was hard, right? Like when she had started her real estate business, she was at rock bottom. She was running a dry cleaners and she's like, nobody told me it was supposed to be hard. So my first year in business, like she crushed it because she didn't know that it was hard. She didn't know it was supposed to be hard, right? It only felt hard the more she achieved. The more pressure that she felt is actually when business started to feel hard. In the beginning of her career, when she was signing clients in the very, very beginning and making money, that experience wasn't hard because she didn't have that belief system, right? She needed the money at the time, right? But it came from this place of, let me just go figure this thing out. You feel pressure because you believe something is missing. I'm not good enough. I don't know enough. I just need to get this thing fixed, this piece right here, right? That's actually what is causing the pressure in the business, not how hard or how easy or how long you've been doing this or how much experience you have. It's the fact that you keep telling yourself that something is missing. And when you are an energetic match to something missing, you are an energetic match to lack. And the only thing that you can be met with is lack. So, but here's what happens. Why does lack work? Because lack does work and it's extremely misleading. Lack creates action, right? This massive action concept. Just go out there and take all the action you possibly can, right? Because you have to do something. You have to get something. I've got to do something to get something, right? It creates urgency and other people are in a state of urgency. So when you're in a state of urgency, you will get people to buy in a state of urgency. It creates movement. We feel productive, right? When we've got this, I'm not good enough. I've got to learn something. We feel so good when we can say that we learned something new today, right? Like I'm reading a lot of books right now about breathing, breath work. You guys know I'm very open about it here on the show. I think 100% changed my life in so many ways. And so I wanted to learn more about it and see, like, do I bring this into my coaching practice? Is this something that I want to work with my clients on? I can just share my personal experience, but I don't know enough about it. So I'm just reading some books and listening to some podcasts and things like that. And it feels good. It tickles the brain so much to be like, I'm learning something new. Like there's that feeling. It does feel really amazing. And that is a really good feeling. And then we want to go out, like do something immediately, but it creates this energy of lack, this missing thing, right? Most people, though, the problem is that we're not just using the pressure as the spark because the pressure is needed. I do want to point that out. Like from a physics perspective, there has to be a spark, right? Like something has to start. Something can't come out of nothing. There has to be a spark. There has to be an observation if you're looking at this from a science perspective, right? But most people aren't using that pressure, that action, that urgency, that movement, that excitement, that interest. They're not using it as a spark. They're living it. Right? So we live this dopamine hit of learning and learning and learning and learning and learning and learning and learning, but not do anything because we're living it instead of using it as a spark. Like for me, I'm learning about breath. And so I'm practicing different ways of breathing and I'm talking to the kids about breathing and I'm talking to my clients about breathing, right? Like I want to not just use it. I want to just use this as a spark and I want to take action. I want to get into that, right? So when we live in pressure, that's where the urgency and all of that comes from. Okay. So how does this tie into capacity, right? Going back to episode 1, right? Constant pressure. What does constant pressure cause? Survival mode, right? When you are constantly under pressure, your nervous system is consistently in a heightened state. This is why so many women feel like they're living in survival mode, right? Because there's this constant pressure, a constant feeling of something is missing. I'm going to drop a ball. I'm going to drop a play. I'm not good enough. I need to get this done. I need to get that done. This person is waiting on me. I've got to answer this email. Like we're constantly running that hamster wheel of thoughts, which is constant pressure. And it puts that onto our nervous system, right? Which means our nervous system isn't activated. When there's no space, there's no capacity. Do you see how this all works together, right? This pressure, this lack energy is actually what's putting the pressure on our nervous system. And with an activated nervous system, we can't create the capacity we need to grow. So lack leads to pressure, and pressure leads to no capacity. And your emotional capacity is quite literally what is deriving your business success. So that is why you feel trapped. Like women tell me all the time, they just feel trapped. They just feel stuck. It's these very generic words that you don't normally associate with because that's not, you're a high achiever. You operate, but it is. It's just like every day feels like the same. It feels like Groundhog Day. You wake up and you feel like you cannot get from behind, right? So here's what I want to share with you though. What's wild about making this shift, right? Operating your business from a space of solution, right? Versus from a place of problem. From the outside looking in, your business will look very similar. My business current state looks very similar than it did when I was running a thriving coaching practice back in, 2019, 2020, 2021, right? Like when I was kicking ass and taking name, like my business looks very similar. And I am running a thriving coaching practice, right? But the shift here is internal because the experience I am having of the business is wildly different than it was at the time. The decisions that I'm making, the marketing that I'm doing, the way that I'm showing up, the topics that I'm talking about, the transformations that my clients are getting, like it is wildly different. And so this work is so frustrating, I think, for a lot of high achievers in that way, is outside looking in, it's not going to look terribly different. Again, especially because so many of you are already winning in so many areas, it's going to be the way you operate, the way that you experience your business and the way you experience your life, right? And I was just interviewed recently, a client of mine, and I'll have her on my show too. Her name is Sarah Buhner. She's incredible. She's actually the one who produces this podcast. And she just went through a rebrand and she runs this media company and it's really beautiful. But she was interviewing me on her show and we were talking about how she went through business therapy, the first iteration of business therapy, and then went on to join my alumni program. And so she's been in my world ever since then and getting the coaching and having these conversations. And she told me, she's like, yeah, Ryan, my business hasn't changed that much. I changed. Like I used to do so much people pleasing and so much proving and operated from so much scarcity around my pricing and what I wanted to do and really not even fully admitting what I wanted because it felt so big, to now the business doesn't look that different, but my revenue has doubled. So yay. But the way I operate, the way I make decisions, the way that I'm building the company is so incredibly different, right? So when you make this shift from this place of lack, the outside isn't going to look that different. I think that makes people really nervous. Like, you want me to change so many things. Like I said, people who don't actually see you, touch you, taste you every single day, they will not notice that a lot has changed, right? A lot of people have mirrored that back to me. While I am wildly different than I was from the outside looking in, my life doesn't look that different. Me wandering around in the woods with my dogs, right? Me being an adventurer, me loving to travel. Like, those are everybody has known that version of me, at least as long as I've been on the internet, which pretty openly since 2019, which is wild to think about. There's not that much about my hobbies haven't changed dramatically, but I have changed dramatically. And most importantly, the way that I'm running this business has changed dramatically. And that's why I say to myself every single day that I am building a $10 million business, doing only things that I love, because I'm not building a business from lack, because lack literally means I have to go get something. I'm not good enough the way that I am. And now it's like, I'm good enough and getting better every single day, right? So here's some language shifts. Here's some practical things for you, right? So even simple things like I need to go get clients, because we all know that businesses we do need clients, right? Like, in order to be a business, you got to make money. There's got to be a value exchange, right? So instead, I look at this, my business, I create opportunities. And opportunities may come in the form of somebody purchasing my products and services. Opportunities may come in somebody inviting me to come speak on one of their stages. Opportunities may come in a lovely, kind human who I met. Our kids play baseball together, shared my radical ambition workshop with like the executives inside of her companies, right? Like, I create opportunities, right? So I don't need to go get clients. I create opportunities, and I become an energetic match to opportunities, right? When I look at my business, I no longer ask myself, what problem do I solve? It's what solution? What is my solution? What is my solution that is so life changing, right? And then I attract people who value that. Here is the solution that I offer, right? What do I do? What is the solution that I offer as a business therapist? My solution is I help women who are trapped by their success build lives and businesses they're fucking obsessed with, right? I'm not solving your problem. I'm not like, oh, let me fix all the things that are wrong with you. Because first of all, I don't believe you're fucking broken. But if you value not having to choose between making a fuck ton of money and being really fulfilled in your career and living an incredible life, that's what I attract. I don't go out in the world like, I need to find clients who have the problem of da-da-da-da-da-da-da. It's I create opportunities and I provide solutions for people having this experience, and they would really value having this one. Outside, it looks the same. Energy is completely different. My ideas are completely different. The words that I use are completely different. And here's why this is so, so, so important. When you operate from lack, you attract people in lack. And this sucks because, again, the business is working, right? So many of you, your business is working. You have clients, but your clients are not the clients you would love to be working with, right? Like, There's 7 out of 10 clients, not 10 out of 10 clients, right? If on a scale of 1 to 10, there's a client like 7 out of 10, like they check most of the boxes, but there's a few things missing. Most people operate in that space, right? They don't, not, most of you aren't working with total assholes. You're at a point in your career where you've learned to say no to that, but you still work with some assholes if they're the right assholes in the right opportunity, in the right place, in the right time, or if you're just having a bad day and you're afraid of something, you'll take that asshole because you get the dopamine hit from it, right? But when you operate your business from an energy of lack, you attract people in lack because people are attracted. Oh, you have a problem? Let me help you. Right. And this is, we get so stuck in this as women because we are helpers and we do have servant hearts. And that's such a big part of who we are. And it's a big part of our biology. And I love that about that. But our need to help puts us in this weird savior position. We're like, I just need to help make you better. Right. And we take on a responsibility that isn't ours. And so many of my clients come to this. So many of my clients feel like they are holding the weight of the world of their clients, of their teams, of, their families. But it is because of the energy that we are operating in. We are literally attracting those types of experiences. We are attracting those type of people. When we're contracted, we are met with people who are also in contraction. So the result winds up being, again, heavier clients, more problems, more pressure. It's not necessarily a lack of money. And this is something that I got caught up in years, and I know so many of my clients get caught up in, is we think if we could just fix the money problem. But it's not the fucking money problem. It's the lack energy that we are constantly operating from. When you operate from a creation energy, right? Not I'm going to go solve problems for people with problems and attract problems. It's I'm going to go create opportunities for people who value what I do. You attract people who are energetically in expansion. Things feel easier. Alignment increases. This is why so much of the language in the personal development world is like, it's supposed to be easy. It's supposed to be fun. And that's so frustrating when you're not having fun and it doesn't feel easy from you. It's not that we're doing something different. It's not that, you're operating my business that wildly different from you. It's just that things feel easier to me because I enjoy them, because I'm not out here trying to fucking play whack-a-mole with the world's problems. It's because I'm trying to create something really fucking incredible for as many women who want to get on board with it. And that just feels so different, right? Most people are creating results from lack, results in the material world, the money results, the client results, the job title results, the house and the car results. They're all created from lack. And that's why they never fucking feel like enough. So the question you want to start asking yourself here is, what is your experience of the business? Most of us are, how much money does our business make? That's the question we're asking. Or how much money do we want to make? How much money do we want? But if you start asking yourself, what is the experience of your business that you want to have? What do you want to wake up in the morning excited about? When you look at a to-do list, like what would fire you up? If there was appointments on your calendars, what are the ones that you would love? Because what's so important here is this isn't about results. The results are fucking inevitable. You are already winning. You have the results. This is about how it feels to build your life. And yes, you're going to get results. You're going to make more money. You're going to hit the goals that you set for yourself. But like I said, you were going to do those things anyway. I just want you to understand, share with you that it doesn't have to suck. You don't have to be a slave to it. You don't have to carry the weight of the world on your shoulders to create those results. You can do both. And the fear so many people have is that if I let go of the pressure, what will drive me? If I don't put this pressure on myself, what will drive me? Because right now, all you want to do is, fall face first into your bed for a week, but you actually don't, because once you fall face first into your bed, you get antsy and you think of all the things that you don't want to do, right? It's this constant fear-based thing. And most people, I certainly used to be, were addicted to the pressure. It's what has always worked. You cannot possibly imagine. I remember when I was on that closures cruise back in January, I talk about it quite a bit. There was a woman who was like, I'm not ready to slow down. I'm not ready to slow down. Like, to her, there's this addiction to the pressure. Like, I'm not ready to slow down. I don't want to slow down. Like, I'm not ready. I'm like, I'm not asking you to slow down the results. I'm asking you to enjoy it. But when this way has always worked, the idea of doing it differently is terrifying. Remember, your brain's job is to keep you safe. And so the idea of I want to stop doing the majority of what I'm doing because it's wasting fucking time, it's not moving me forward, and I hate it, is terrifying. And because you're incredible and because you're just you are able to keep pushing. But I see it happening. I saw it happening in myself. I see it happening around me, is that at some point in time, there's going to be a cost to that. And you're not going to be able to just keep pushing through it. So what we want to do here is, I don't want you to turn down your goals. I want you to be driven by something different than pressure. I want you to be driven by desire. I want you to be driven by expansion. I want you to be driven because wouldn't it be fun if? That's the difference. I'm doing the same thing I was doing 5 or 6 years ago. I'm doing a lot of very similar things, but the difference is that I'm not doing it to prove something. I'm doing it because I fucking love it. I'm doing it because why not? The more women who operate from this space, the more of us that talk about business in this way, the more the world changes. And isn't that the point? So the shift I want you to make here about business, this business belief that is about having to go get something or fix something or solve a problem. Instead, I want you to think about your business in the term or your career from a space of creation. Become a match. Operate from having. Right? Operate from having. The results are inevitable. You have everything you've set out to create. I know that you have. You already have it. Operate from that space. What do you want to create from here? But the most important part is there is nothing missing. There is nothing wrong with you. I know for me, I thought something was wrong with me. Why the fuck can I not just be happy? What is wrong with me? But there's nothing wrong with me, right? I was just operating from a place of lack because that's all I had ever been taught. I didn't have an example of anything else. That's why I am so passionate about this information. Because the more of us that are showing people this example that business doesn't have to be about lack, it doesn't have to be a grind, it doesn't have to be a place for suffering and proving and competing and a battle, and it can just be our work. It could just be what we do with our time. It could just be the way that we use our gifts in the world. Imagine that. There's nothing missing, right? I could talk about this all day long. So what are we going to talk about moving forward? I'm going to continue to give me some of my beliefs, but this is one that's so important. As long as your business is built, rooted in lack, rooted in problem solving inherently, it's going to create this pressure. When you can build your business from a place of creation and expansion and solution and value, you will have a wildly different experience. Moving forward, some things we're going to talk about people, right? How we deal with people in this space, beliefs I have about people. Beliefs about marketing and sales, and y'all know marketing and sales was my jams. Belief I had about effort, beliefs I had about control. I'm going to break them all apart from you in this series. This series is so good. But the truth of the matter is, it's all just different expressions of lack. It's the way that our brain tells us this tricky fucking lack story that isn't even true. If you are feeling this, if every part of your body knows right now that holy fucking bananas, that has been my entire career, because that's how I felt when I learned about this information. If you're starting to see that the pressure you feel every single day isn't actually because of you're behind, it's because of the energy that you're operating from, then the next step is to look at what it would actually take to run your business differently. Not from pressure, not from chasing, not from feeling like something is missing, but from a place of creation. And that is the work I do as a business therapist. So if you're ready to explore that, if you want to have a conversation about what it would look like to build from creation and possibility instead of pressure and lack, let's have a conversation. And this series is just going to keep getting better. As you can tell, I am wildly passionate about this work. I'm wildly passionate about this message. I'm wildly passionate about you having it fucking all in your career, in your life, in your business, in your relationships, in every area. And I think this work is so important to that. So thank you. If you know somebody that needs to hear this, please share it with them. And I love you, and I will be back next week. Thanks so much for tuning in to the Uncensored Self podcast. If this conversation cracked something open for you, trust that that's the work. And share this episode with a woman in your life who's ready to stop performing and start creating. And if you haven't already, hit subscribe, leave a review. It helps this message reach the women who need it most. Remember, you're the creator. The rules are yours, and your uncensored self, she already knows what to do. Keep leading, keep listening, keep becoming.